You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Oilers Nation Everyday, the only show that also bans fact-checking. Let's get into it with the lead. It's a little political humor for our friends south of the border, Liam.
Open it up with a zinger.
Oh, yeah. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday, live from the Sports Closet Studio. One day I'm going to do that. That sign is going to come down. It is not that secure.
No, those bricks are falling soon, too.
Yeah, everything. But here's a fun tease. New studio coming for the boys.
Whoa.
We got our budget approved.
Mid-September.
Yeah, we were told mid-September. And then we were told mid-October. Now we're being told November.
Could be any time. Christmas is coming.
It would be either way. We're getting a new studio, and it's going to be cool.
Let's hope so. This is a cool
I think
studio.
I get to hang out in this studio.
Yeah, I think with this one is still going to exist.
Yeah, I think the other one is going to be ours in real life.
I think it's going to be only ours on that one side of the room, and then
new ones are those two.
Yeah,
and O&R will be in here.
Yeah, O&R and pre-post will be in here.
Sick.
So yeah, we're doing some moving and shaking. Lance Kane, all Oilers Nation projects are on schedule till they are not. Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, Liam and I wear some of this, a decent amount of this. We probably could have pushed the process along a little faster, but we didn't.
Well, we didn't.
The season crept up on us. The Oilers played too late into the spring, and then we were like, hey, we want to chill for a bit, and then we didn't get any work done for like 3 months.
I found out he texted me. It was the goalie on my co-ed team.
Oh.
Should have probably saved numbers. He also texted me yesterday morning saying, hey, this is me. And I forgot to text him back. So, Nick, I'll get back to you shortly. Good Yakimov jersey.
That's
Listens
a nice
to the show.
Jersey.
Loves the show. That's how he knew I didn't know it was him.
All right. Welcome into the show.
The one other thing, I saw him Monday before he listened to the show.
Oh.
So we had the awkward moment of him being like, that asshole didn't text me back on Saturday. Sorry, Nick.
I mean, but yeah, you can't always expect everyone's going to have your number.
No.
You also could have texted back and said, who is this?
I could have. But then you don't want to be like, I didn't know who it was.
That would have been rude.
I didn't want it to be someone from here. Like, I didn't, someone from the office.
Tyler Yaremchuk. I was a good hockey player. I'm just missing the speed, size, puck control, shot, hockey IQ, determination, commitment, and grittiness to make it to the next level. That's a Bob quote.
I was going to say Bob says
that. Bob quote. That's a good joke. All right. Let's also, Mulik, I Googled the other player you mentioned in your ODR comment. He was pretty good. Played for the Crusaders. Matt Meropoulos.
What?
Played for the Crew in 09-10.
Never.
So yeah, you wouldn't know who that is, Liam. I saw someone from the BCHL Twitter account tweeting about the Crusaders lineup and how many 06s and 07s you guys have?
07s and 08s.
07s and 08s, and how you guys are still going to be a good team.
We are 3-1. We scored 10 goals over the weekend and allowed 4. We were up. I think we were up 4-1 and 6-1 or something like that. Yeah, we've gone for a different approach this year. The youth is the movement. NHL, we had 20 NHL scouts at our game on Saturday.
Damn. Yeah. Insured Park.
So
start inviting them on the show.
There was a one goal that was scored, and it was quite funny. And where we sit, me and my GM sit, the scouts kind of sit in that area too. We're in the suite, they're kind of in the standing area. And this kid went end to end, scored, and about the majority of them all clicked their pens at the same time and just started writing notes. It's like that's funny.
I'm ignoring Waz's fantasy football comments
because they're terrible. So
now he's doing it for attention, so I'm out on the whole bit.
Yeah, so can I just give one?
I'm out on Waz in the league.
Yeah, I'm out on Waz in general.
So Waz made a trade with Jay the other day, which allowed him to acquire Mark Andrews.
Yep.
I can't remember who he traded. It was like the only trade he's made that's relatively equal. And last night dropped Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So we're out on you, Waz.
Yeah, we're out on Waz. All right, let's talk a little bit of hockey. The Edmonton Oilers have made some more roster trims since our last show, Liam. And the one guy, not a lot of surprises really on who all went down for the Oilers. Ben Gleason, one of the names that would have went on waivers. And I know some people were like, he played so good. Like, was he not one of the better defensemen in camp? Second straight year where Ben Gleason's, I think you could argue if you just watched the preseason games, you'd go, Ben Gleason probably deserves to be on an NHL roster. there's clearly something there they don't love. Also, I do think a lot of the moments that kind of make you go like, whoa, are on the power play, and he's never going to get power play time here if he plays. So Ben Gleason goes on waivers. I understand the people going, hold up, he's miles better than Josh Brown, and he is, and he's better than Dermott, and I mean, Carrick's gone, but he's better than Carrick. Like, Ben Gleason outplayed a lot of guys he was competing with. This is just, and it goes back to the conversation a bit of what we were doing with Derek Ryan and Noah Phil, but like, the incumbent has to be so bad, and the guys chasing have to be so good, and even then that might not come true.
Even a guy, well, look at the other guys that went down too, right? Like
Yeah.
Kemp and Pedersen. You know, if we were, I don't know, the Minnesota Mild, maybe those two guys crack the roster. They're probably good enough to be here, but on Gleason, like another part of it too, which doesn't hold any value for him over like the Brown, Dermott. He hasn't played an NHL game. He doesn't have that veteran status for these exhibition games anymore. And look, maybe Gleason gets a call up during the year when an opportunity comes. Maybe an injury does.
Well, we said this last year.
Yeah, but no injuries happened.
That's fair.
So that's just what it's going to come down for him. But you know what? Credit to him. Back-to-back years, come into the camp, compete at the high level.
Mm-hmm.
People know his name.
They do. I had someone reach out to me and was like, Gleason's too good. He's getting picked up on waivers. And it's like,
no.
Rebuilding teams have their Ben Gleasons picked out, and competitive teams don't have room on the rosters for Ben Gleason. So no, he's good. He's going to slide through waivers. I fully expect that. If someone claims him, my jaw will be on the floor. I haven't seen the waiver wire from today or anything like that.
Pedersen would be the one. I think if someone was going to
Lane Peterson?
Peterson,
yeah.
Pedersen. Lane Peterson, just because contract's friendly. Maybe someone's like, we don't like our 4C.
But again, like teams have made their bets.
Totally. He's just another guy.
He's a guy.
This time of year. Has there been anybody claimed?
No.
I can't think of one player.
And
maybe this next wave will be it, because it will be like the full on, like the guys who were very, very close to making it.
Yeah. And I had this conversation with Gregor on his show the other day, but a lot of people this time of year, and I think we do it a bit in the summer too, where it's like, oh man, this guy's not waiver eligible anymore. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
This is the best time to slide a guy through waivers.
Totally is. It was funny the other day, kind of funny. Corey Perry's got a pretty nice goal.
He did against AHL competition.
Yeah, totally. But it's just funny sometimes. Like, he's like, oh yeah, Corey Perry does still have that ability in him.
Yeah.
But you know,
this was nice. This was really nice. Credit Sportsnet for the highlight. A good goal. I still think he looks slow. I did like, if we're talking about Corey Perry now and shifting the conversation a bit, I like that he stood up for McDavid. I actually think that's a decent way to deploy Corey Perry, in the sense that if McDavid's playing in a preseason game, just put Perry on his wing.
Yeah.
And no shit's going to happen. Corey Perry's.
Puck Colson on the other.
Yep.
You know,
that was a good spot for Connor McDavid to be, and I applaud Corey Perry for being a good veteran. Like, I think people maybe get it twisted a little bit in my comments about Perry. Like, I'm fine with him being an Oiler.
Me too.
I am not okay with him making $1.15 million when he's already got bonus money coming in. And I'm not okay with their process of how they arrived there, because, again, they could have spent that money on Holloway. Corey Perry's made $100 million. He didn't need to push for more. And also, you had to healthy scratch him in the playoffs. You know what Corey Perry is at this point. It's a league minimum player. I didn't like the way they jumped at the contract that they gave him. That's it. Good leader. A guy who, again, scored at a nearly 20-goal pace when he came with the Oilers. Like, fine regular season guy. I just don't like the cap hit, and I don't think you can have him on your playoff roster for night one. I know people, again, we did this whole song and dance with them last year, but like, you just wait till playoff Perry's here, and it didn't show up. So,
do you one other thing on the cuts?
Yeah.
Do you make anything of the fact that Drake Caggiula is still here?
No, you probably just need a couple more vets.
Okay. I agree.
To get you through the preseason.
I mean, he's done well.
Yep.
And I would honestly love him to make the team again. But
but there's no room.
30 years old now.
Yep.
Like, you got to put your money on Pod Colson. But he kind of is like the lone guy who's not been in the conversation outside of like Philp and Lavoie. It's him, right?
Yeah.
But he is the NHL guy.
And Tyler Mulick, signing our whole bottom six on July 1st is very questionable. I somewhat agree with that. Back to the waiver conversation. And also, yes, I know you guys are talking about in the chat, Tyler Ennis is joining the show today. We'll have more on that in a second. One guy did guess it at the end of last show, and
Adam Ernie.
Adam Ernie guessed it, and our boy Brad Bay DM'd me and was like, "Hey, is it Ennis?" And I was like, "You got it." So shout out Brad. But I saw a tweet from Matt Henderson, Archeola guy.
Yep.
And he kind of got my wheels turning a bit. He said, "My smart Oilers friends, is there a right-handed D we're watching to hit waivers from another team?" I think that's interesting. The idea that maybe the Oilers' third pairing right shot defenseman is not currently an Oiler. And one of the names that popped in there by a few people was Justin Barron out in Montreal. And now at the moment I looked into it and I was like, this actually might make a little bit of sense. Justin Barron's 22, former first-round pick. They got him in the Lehkonen deal.
Trade.
Yeah, at the deadline. And when you look at Montreal's blue line, they have David Savard playing above him as a righty. They also have, as far as their lefties go, Matheson, Xhekaj, Lane Hudson's probably making the team. Caden Gooley's going to have to play. One of their lefties is probably going to turn over to be a righty. And there was some consideration that David Reinbacher, who is also a righty, would make the team. They have Logan Mailloux in the system as well. They have a lot of young defensemen, and Barron at 22 is maybe trending more towards being a bit of a tweener. He's locked up for this year and a year after at $1.15 million. And the idea that popped into my head was this could end up, I can see a path, maybe, is this the Klim Kostin deal 2.0, where Montreal probably needs to add, I think, some bottom six help. Would you do Raphael Lavoie for Justin Barron? And maybe it's provided they both clear waivers, and then you can start Barron in the American League, play him 20 minutes a night for a month. And the other thing, Mulick said it, and this did throw a wrench in it, and I was going to add this. Reinbacher's out like 6 months now. So that probably kills that dream. But I did look at that, and I went, man, Justin Barron would be an interesting case. And maybe the Reinbacher thing doesn't totally kill it, because, again, you're looking at Montreal as needing, let's just say it's 8 defensemen with their young guys that they want to have. Matheson, Savard, Xhekaj, Hudson. They have Hayden Struble still up in camp. Caden Gooley still there. We're already at 6, not counting Reinbacher, not counting Justin Barron. And then you can look in the minors at a guy like Logan Mailloux, who they might view as closer than other people do. So, like, even without Reinbacher and Barron, they have 7. I don't know. I think Justin Barron's a really interesting one. I know people, Mulick saying it. Some other people on Twitter were saying Bob was talking a lot about Will Borgen. Borgen, at the Kraken. Right shot, 27-year-old. Couple problems with Borgen. One, I don't think Seattle's waiving him because he's in their top 6. Right now, I think the battle for them is on the left side, 7th D, between Riker Evans and Josh Mahura, the former Panther. And they have some guys in the minors, like Cale Fleury, but not a lot there. What I was getting at, Borgen, $2.7 million. I have a hard time believing he goes on waivers. I think they could probably get something for him as well. And the Oilers would have a tougher time squeezing in that cap. You'd have to do some cap gymnastics. So I like Barron because he's cheap and you can afford him. And I could see the path where Montreal goes, we like Raph Lavoie, French connection guy. We'd play him, maybe even play him with some skill. And Barron's a spare part. Let's do the swap.
Yeah, it adds up. I wonder if that Reinbacher thing does kind of affect it a little bit. But I mean, why would the Oilers say no to that? But so just refresh my memory on this and for everyone else. The waiver priority is last season still.
Last year's standings, yeah.
So the Oilers would be like 6th from the bottom, or
something like that, yeah.
So it'd have to go through. So it's a long shot. I really just see the option as Stetcher or Brown.
Brown was so bad again the other night.
Yeah, I agree.
He can't skate. His pinches are brutal. His gap control stinks. He can't pass the puck.
I agree.
He doesn't do anything well. And I had another interesting theory floated my way, and it was funny. The person I was texting this with, this is the jump they made as like a dual Jays Oilers fan, but they said that Brown deal was just to kind of show everyone, like, hey, that's our Vinny cover. Like, look, you might be upset we lost Vinny, but we got new Vinny. And then they compared it to the day after the Jays, and it's small potatoes, but the day after the Jays lost Ohtani, they signed IKF.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, hey, we're doing something. And it was like, well, got a guy that's not that good.
Yeah.
Not that Vinny is at all Ohtani, obviously. Brown should have gotten in that guy's face instead of Perry. Yeah, he was late to the scrum. Couldn't get there fast enough.
Yeah.
I digress.
I just don't know what they even want Brown to be. Well, I know what they want Brown to be, but I'm not sure why they wanted that.
Yeah.
For that much. Again, like that $1 million could have just gone to Holloway.
It's
They
frustrating. The process frustrates me.
They made some bad decisions. I was actually surprised.
Like Frank when we had him on.
It was like, well, it was almost like it was
Well,
like Arvidsson and Skinner or Yaremchuk and Perez. I don't think those are the same.
Yeah, no, like you could have had your cake and eaten it too. You could have had Arvidsson and Skinner, and then given the Perry money to Holloway, and still had like $500K in cap space.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
100%.
Part of me feels like they forgot that they still had Holloway and Broberg, and they were like, "Oh shit, that's right, those guys."
I think they kind of did what we all did, and that was like, offer sheets don't happen. Yep. Squeeze them and sign them in September for $900K, and you're going to get the best of both worlds. And ultimately, we saw that played out. Okay, we got 10 minutes until our boy Ennis is showing up. Okay. We're excited for that, but let's get to a couple of other segments. First, what's trending for our friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, your one-stop shop for everything you need from fishing rods, reels, tackles, boat accessories to motorcycle gear, water sports, accessories, and e-bikes. Find out more at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. What's trending? Someone got claimed on waivers while we were doing that conversation.
The Boston Bruins have claimed goalie Yuri Patera from Vancouver. I did pretty good name.
So that means everybody else got claimed or went through, which is good. Good news for the Oilers.
Cal Peterson and Spencer Martin, who is now in Carolina, went through waivers as well.
Spencer Martin's on Carolina.
On waivers, sorry. They got put on waivers.
There was a point last year when we were talking about the Oilers claiming him.
Do you know, it's funny. I was listening to Low Tide yesterday.
The Tide.
He was going through waivers. And you guys might know this name because of the hype Canucks fans put around him. Jack Rathbone.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh,
guy?
I did a show for a year and a half.
Yeah.
They love that dude.
Canucks fans love to pump up their prospects, and they all end up on waivers. Example, Vasily Podkolzin.
Quads was so high on Podzilla.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just funny. But yeah, Rathbone cleared as well. Shock.
Brian Windhorst meme.
Oh.
Why are the Bruins claiming a goalie?
Whoa, what has happened?
Also, Oilersnation Everyday fully endorses Brian Windhorst to be Wojnarowski's replacement. That's our guy. We're fighting for him.
Yeah.
Did you hear it might be Schefter?
Well, I was also going to say, I love the idea of ESPN. Super insider. If Passett or Schefter are just immediately the NBA guys, I think that's electric.
Yeah.
Why can't Frank Saravalli do more than hockey is my other point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we could really expand Frank.
I should text Frank and just be like, all right, pick your other sport.
Do you know what's funny? In soccer, it's obviously there's only two guys.
Really?
So it's like a big sport, right? Like it's worldwide. That there's I can't remember the names, but Mario or something like that. But yeah, it's a different ball game. I was listening to
seems wildly inefficient.
But it's people pay this guy. Fabrizio Romano, that's his name. People pay him to like get their sources out and put out his Twitter. But yeah, maybe Frank can golf perhaps. Golf inside game. I don't know.
I said our chat is wondering what are the odds you can become a two-sport insider.
Oh, I was like, how long do I have to carry this?
My chat, us.
It's just us, yeah. It's just a good cover. If he's like, that's stupid, just blame it on the chat. Frank doesn't think he thinks we're idiots.
Did he reply already?
No, he hasn't read it yet.
Okay,
he might leave me on red for that one too. Sometimes when I text him dumb shit, he just gives me like 12 hours to stew on it, and then I'll be like, "You happy you asked that?"
You apologize.
Sorry, Frank. DFO Live returns next Tuesday. Everybody, 30 minutes daily around the NHL with myself and Frank Saravalli over on the Daily Faceoff YouTube. So go subscribe there.
Yeah, this is going to be a good show this year. On most years, it's typically pretty good.
It's going to be.
I do like watching it in the mornings.
Yep. Good way to start your day. 10 a.m.
30 minutes keeps me educated.
Nice and tight. And we like fly through. It's kind of like got that, pardon the interruption style, where we just have like our topics and we just bing, 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 work our way through them super fast. So,
which might be gone too soon, PTI.
Really?
Well, ESPN's just axing everyone.
Yeah, they are.
They just want to be the place where you watch the game. But anyway, what's trending?
Okay, what's trending? We're going to have more on that Bruins goaltending stuff in a second. The Arbor Xhekaj hit from yesterday. So obviously, we were advocating for Xhekaj to get suspended after he jumped a Toronto Maple Leaf. And I know people are going to sit here and be like, what about the guy that need Laine? The Department of Player Safety's job is to stop guys from intentionally hurting other players and punish acts that break the rules. I don't think they did that with the Xhekaj thing. And it leads to this, where Xhekaj goes, targets Stützle's head. And, okay, there's nuance here. When you watch that clip, it looks really, really bad. And then people show the reverse angle and go, his stick hit his face. Xhekaj, okay, this is how I view it. He goes into a hit, leads with his elbow, and injures a player.
The major was given for intent to injure.
Like, his elbow is fully, it's pointing to the heavens.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
We can all sit here and say, oh, the stick hit his face. And maybe it did. The only reason his stick hit his face is because his elbow was by his face. Like, no, this is an absolutely disgusting play. And nobody can defend this. The intent was fully there for Xhekaj to knock Tim Stützle into next week and make him miss games.
Okay, I love this screenshot because it's like, well, his stick hit his head. Well, his stick hit his head because Xhekaj came in flying with his elbow.
Oh, Calvin Pickard, he didn't jump. Xhekaj is like 6'4", and Tim Stützle
He doesn't have to jump.
5'11", 6 feet. He doesn't have to jump. He just lifts his elbow.
It's
think
crazy.
It's a
Shout out Brady
play.
Tkachuk, because that's sick for a preseason game.
Brady Tkachuk.
Oh, I also don't want my captain fighting, especially fighting
I just think it's
Arbor
brutal.
Xhekaj. I don't think that's a hit you don't need in the game. And I saw that and I was like, if Connor McDavid plays another preseason game, I'm going to freak the hell out. Like, stop. Everyone stop. We're a week away from the season. 8 preseason games is ridiculous. People are saying Stützle needs to learn how to take a hit. Oh, JK, good. Good, Mulek. Good, JK.
I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, Rusty put out there. They're not doing anything about this. I know. No kidding. Just brutal.
I don't like it. I don't like that hit at all. Patrick,
especially back-to-back games.
Yeah,
It's
like
not
he's
just like
that guy's a clown.
Yeah, I think there's a place in hockey for fighting and obviously big hits, and it's exciting and what makes hockey unique. But you can still be clean doing it.
I'll say this: Xhekaj gives Costco employees a bad name. If you don't know the story, Xhekaj was working at a Costco the summer before he went to the NHL.
Yeah.
That went way over my head.
Yeah,
That went straight over my head.
He didn't think he was like going to get any offers to go play major junior again. And then, so he was, and his parents were like, you got to get a job. So he went, he was working at Costco. And then I think the Hamilton Bulldogs were like, we're going to bring you back as an overager. He ended up getting a rookie camp invite to Montreal. And then the whole thing went from there. But he was working at a Costco.
Where do you stand on the idea of
Costco?
Costco.
No, I hate those guys now. I'm out on them.
The idea that players shouldn't play, like top players shouldn't play preseason games.
We shouldn't have 8 of them.
So there was reports yesterday, and the reason they haven't changed it is because just in the CBA it just says that, right? And they can't do that yet. They want to get it down to 4. So if you get down to 4, like the NFL, you're probably getting that week 4 of games, the 4th game, where it's like pretty much NHL guys.
Yep.
That's how you would view it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of okay. I think it's interesting. Like the first couple, like you don't need it. It really is just guys getting their feet under them. But even the rookie stuff, like the rookies need a chance. Like they have their young stars tournaments.
Bingo.
They don't need it. You can have guys on your PTOs and everything that can obviously still come. But yeah, why is Kyle? Sorry, NFL has 3 now.
Really?
I guess so. Yeah, that does sound right.
Hmm.
I don't watch. But the one thing too, and I don't think this would matter too much for the NHL, but it might for a few guys. In the NFL, the first couple of weeks, especially this season, were like, oh, it's just like another game, preseason game because no one's in sync. Like, I think it's easier to get back in the rhythm in the NHL because there's so many games and they come so quickly. But I hope the start of the season wouldn't be so lackluster with the lack of preseason. But then again, McDavid's going to play like 3 games.
Joel, your first 2 preseason should be your young stars. The last 2 should be your squad. I would say it's like 1 game to, if you want to give some guys preseason games, your rookies, sure, that's the first game. Games 2 and 3 are the guys fighting for spots. Maybe you play half your vets in one, half your vets in the other. And the 4th one is all your vets.
They could make a rule if they wanted to keep it at a higher rate. They're like, okay, your first 2 or 3 games, the veteran rule doesn't exist.
Yeah. Or you only need to hit the veteran rule in 2 or 4 preseason games.
Yeah.
Or just don't have the veteran rule. I mean,
I think they need the veteran rule because it encourages teams to pick up PTOs and give players opportunity, which is what the CBA would like.
Fair counter.
PA.
All right. one non-hockey thing that's trending. Also, Line A's out 2 to 3 months. He'll return by December. I don't know if that's what you were going to show, AB. What were you going to show?
No, I think you did that. I didn't do that.
Oh, I did it? Okay, my bad. One non-hockey thing. Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins, Toronto Blue Jays had their end-of-season press conferences, and we had this tremendous question from a reporter, I believe, with the Toronto Star. AB, you want to roll the clip?
Now, Toronto Star. You'll understand why I can't identify the player, but one of your players said told me recently, that this club was, quote, a fucking shit show. So, excuse
Oh my
language.
That's what I would expect from you, Rosie.
You're such a charmer.
Oh my god.
What would your response be to something like that when that is coming from somebody in your own clubhouse?
I was actually really proud of our clubhouse all year long, both player and coaching staff. You know, I think that in situations like we had this year, those cracks tend to get revealed.
Oh, man.
The reaction to
Hey,
was special.
The reaction from the guys?
Yeah.
PJT, yeah.
Just hands on mouths,
Wait.
gasps.
Okay, I like this one from Bo. That sensor was way off.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
run
so
the
off.
beginning again?
By the player, but one of your players said told me recently, that this club was, quote, a fucking shit show. So,
Oh my God.
Whatever. Yeah, the beeping was not even close on that. Ross Atkins also Mark Shapiro, the first question he got was from Keegan Matheson, who I love. And he was basically asked, like, how can management be better?
Yeah.
What part of this do you guys wear? And Shapiro just went into a minute-long answer about how injuries derailed their season. Okay, a couple of points here. Gate 14 had this. Love Gate 14. The Blue Jays ranked 24th in baseball injuries with only 19 million cash total per days missed. So bottom third in the league.
Yeah.
Injuries were not a problem. Also, the Atlanta Braves just made the playoffs with no Ronald Acuna, no Spencer Strider, couldn't have their ace on the last day of the regular season.
Was out for a huge stretch of time.
Austin Riley is still out. Like they're missing 4 studs.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs. And Mark Shapiro basically sat there, shrugged, and was like, what do you want management to do? There were injuries. And it's like, bro, sign depth.
Yeah.
Like that's you can actually control that. Like you guys were starting Ryan Burr as an opener at the end of the season. Like it's ridiculous. Maynard says, stop fact checking. Decent point. Anyways, the point is the Jays are a mess. That censoring is hilarious. And that question, even though I don't really like Rosie all that much, I think she's a little bit of an old school clickbaity kind of journalist. It was good on her to ask the question. Third thing, I believe that was Chris Bassett.
Definitely.
He went on a show and said how bad it was, didn't he?
Pretty much. So I'm 90% sure that would have been Chris Bassett. There's no way Chris Bassett's coming back next year because I think he has trade value. He's expensive, and I think they like Bowden Francis. But the Jays are a shit show, which is awesome because we're sitting here watching playoff baseball right now, and it's electric. The Tigers beat the Stros yesterday. That was great. Tariq Scooble's a dog. And I'm sitting there, and I miss last year, even though it went poorly, I miss watching baseball, playoff baseball that I care about.
Totally.
And the Jays stinking is not fun.
Maybe next year, Tyler.
Fucking yeah. Shapiro. God, what an idiot. All right. Should we move along?
Let's move along.
We got a special guest. We got a special guest joining us today. It's the Star Mechanical guest line brought to you by Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. StarMechanical.ca is where you can check them out online. We got a new friend joining us on the show this year. Another former Oiler to add to the stable. And last time we said we had a former Oiler joining us on the show, it was Jason Demers, and he played 1 game. This guy maybe carries a bit more cred as a former Oiler because he actually played a couple of seasons. Tyler Ennis joins us on the show. Appreciate you having us on, man. Excited to be doing this with you.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Let's just start. We're going to get into obviously some hockey talk and whatnot, but retirement life. What's it been like for you? What was the summer like?
It's been good. It's been pretty chill. I was in Europe, so I was playing in Germany, and while I was over there, was able to do some traveling, check out some cool countries, hang out a bit, and then came back home, and now I'm in Kelowna, just hanging out. So it's been a nice few months here, just relaxing and decompressing a bit.
Yeah, we had Brad Malone on when he announced his retirement, and we were talking to him a little bit about how, like, I mean, you were in the league for a decade. Brad played pro hockey for close to 15 years, I think. And it's like, okay, when you finally make the decision to retire and you're no longer training in the gym, all of that stuff, did you have the ability to just like, did you totally stop working out and just like kick your feet up, or were you still like kind of in that routine a little bit?
I mean, I was injured when I kind of decided I was done, so I had a lot of rehab to do. And then when I stepped away, I did a ton of traveling. So I was just kind of buzzing around Europe and just having a good time. And now that I've been back, I've tried to stay in shape a little bit, stay healthy. In no way, shape, or form the same condition I was in when I played, but it's still nice to get some sweats in and just kind of stay in general good health, I guess.
When you were playing in Europe, how different was it? Like sometimes you see these videos of just like the fans going nuts, and they're very much as that like soccer environment. Was there a moment you were like, oh wow, this feels way different to what the NHL is, which is obviously the best of the best?
The fans are amazing. I think the big difference is that the fans in Europe are kind of involved the whole game. So for 60 minutes, even before or after, they're singing and they got the drums going. They're crazy. They're all dancing and having a great time. Super interactive. And then in North America, there's obviously bigger crowds, but during the play, everyone's pretty just invested and focused on the play. Whereas in Europe, I found that like there was dancing and singing going on the whole game. So it was pretty cool and lots of fun for sure.
I'm convinced they don't even watch the games.
Are you?
Yeah, they just go there to sing and cheer and be loud.
Fair enough.
It's fun.
Well, favorite spot you traveled during your summer?
I really like Italy. I was able to kind of buzz around Italy and you see a lot of the country, and I love food, and Italy's got some of the best food around. So good wine, good pasta, great scenery, good weather. So I had a lot of fun in Italy, and I'm going to head back over there and check out a lot of places that I wasn't able to see. So probably Italy would be my choice.
You're an Edmonton guy, obviously. We got our live chat going right now, and it's buzzing. And one question I love to ask guys at the end of their careers, and this is stemmed from a comment we got earlier in the chat of someone who remembers being at an outdoor rink when they were younger, and you were there, and the player you were there with was Matt Maropoulos, and he said we're just ripping up the outdoor rink. The question I like asking guys at the end of their career: the best player you ever played with, whether it maybe was overseas, maybe it was when you were younger, coming up through junior, best player you ever played with who didn't make it to the NHL. One guy who you practice with, you're like, fuck, this guy is so nasty, and he just wasn't able to make the jump.
That's a good question. So 0 NHL games, because there's some guys that played
maybe a couple
few games in the NHL that I was surprised that maybe didn't get more opportunity, but the best player when I was like in Bantam was a guy named Zach Daly, who was unbelievable. A little smaller guy, but kind of dominated. I kind of always thought he was going to be, make the NHL for sure. So, so many good, young, skilled guys when you're, 13, 14. But I think Zach Daly's still in Edmonton, maybe doing some coaching or something like that. But he was an amazing player.
All right. I want to switch gears a little bit. We were just talking about preseason hockey. The fact that there are 8 preseason games feels insane. We're seeing a bunch of guys get hurt right now. And I'm interested for your perspective on this, because you're a guy who obviously went through a couple of different points in your career. There was early on 20 goals at the end. I mean, you took the PTO with Ottawa. How annoying is the preseason when you're maybe one of those guys with the guaranteed contract, you're going to be on the team, And did your perspective and your training camp experience change being a guy who was coming in at the end on a PTO?
Yeah, for sure. I think the longer you're in the NHL, the longer or the more you realize what's important and what you can maybe don't have to focus as much on. Um, so for me, when I was on a PTO, uh, first of all, I had a good relationship with the coaching staff. I had been in Ottawa before, so there was a comfort level there. But just the simplicity of the game, you kind of realize over time. When you're younger, you kind of feel like you have to do something crazy every shift. You feel like you have to show your value every time you touch the puck. And I feel like older guys, when they're on PTOs, they often play pretty well because there's no pressure on them and they have a good instinct and they understand the game well. So I yeah, it really depends on each situation, but for my PTO, I was super comfortable, and I was at the point in my career too where if it didn't work out, I was okay with it too. So pressure, the lack of pressure, I guess, sometimes is important on PTOs as well.
There was a video that went viral the other day of McDavid. I think it was after game 3 or during
Game 2
game
of the cup final.
of just like screaming at the guys in the dressing room.
Do we want to run it?
Yeah, do we have it?
AB,
here?
let's run it.
Obviously, this is a side of McDavid that none of us outside of the dressing room would have seen before. But like, what is his leadership like, and how is he as a captain?
Yeah, I mean, that clip is kind of tough to watch because you feel so bad knowing the result, and you see, how much passion and emotion goes into it. And, it's just sad to see, knowing that those guys weren't able to pull through. And it was, yeah, tough to watch that one. But also, I think encouraging too, as an Oilers fan, to see, how much Connor cares and how passionate he is, and how encouraging that is for the season, because that pain, I think, will help um, throughout the course of the season, and that learning curve. And I think the Oilers are definitely going to be a dangerous team this year, just because of all of that. I mean, you can't get more of an education on winning than going that far.
I actually love that video.
I know.
Like,
Gets me
as
fired
an
up.
Oilers fan, like you said, like it sucks to know what ended up happening, but also the fact of like they clearly responded to that message too, because they went and won 3 of the next 4 games and did a good job of it.
Flip the script. Yeah. You were obviously in the room for a couple of seasons. You played in 5 playoff games as an Oiler as well. Did you ever see McDavid get to that level?
He's definitely a very good leader, and I think within the confines of the dressing room, he shows that more than maybe with the media. But I think that level, I mean, when you're in the Stanley Cup Finals, like, I can't imagine. I was never there, so to see that passion is, yeah, it was sad to watch because you know what happens and how much, like, how close they got. But yeah, I think Connor's a great leader, and I think even last year he will become an even better leader because of that. So yeah, lots of emotion in that video for sure, and I'm excited to see what the Oilers do this year because they got so close last year.
They got close last year, and it is, as much as the core group is the same with obviously the big pieces, there was a decent amount of roster tinkering done over the course of the last couple of months. You had the offer sheet drama, those guys going out. They brought in pieces like Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson. But you're out of playing. You're into the media side of things now. Let's throw on the analyst cap. What did you make of their offseason and the pieces they brought in?
I thought it was good. I think that Arvidsson is a big piece because he's super feisty and he gets in on the forecheck. It's always tough to speculate because everything, changes so quickly in hockey. But what I remember of Arvidsson was being a hard worker. And I know he's slated to play with Leon, I think. At least that's what it seems like. And Leon played well when Yamo was with him, and Yamo was, in on the forecheck and feisty. And I think Arvidsson is, maybe gonna be similar in that, and he provides a veteran quality as well. I think that could be a good combination. It seems like the lines are never what they are to start the season, though, so you never know what happens. But on paper, I think that combination looks really good. I mean, Leon's got to be one of the easiest guys to play with in the world. You just put your stick on the ice, work hard, play smart, and he's going to do everything for you. So I think Victor Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner are both great players, and they just basically got to, make sure their skates are on and tied properly, because they're going to have a good season. Leon's that good.
You got a chance to obviously play with both 29 and 97. When you're out there, do you play a different style? Do you feel like there's a different style of player that works best with either one of them?
I mean, they're so good that I think you have to be a smart player for sure. But I think effort and understanding how to let those guys do their thing, but also be able to keep up with them. It's probably more difficult to play with those guys maybe than it sounds, but if you're a smart player that works hard, it's not that hard, because Leon and Connor are the two best players in the world. They'll make things work themselves. But yeah, I think they're different. They're very different. You have to have different players maybe that work better with both, but it's cool to see how well some additions have done with those guys. Like Zach Hyman has been amazing with Connor, and it would be nice to have someone really click with Leon.
You got one more before we go to the inbox?
We can go to the inbox.
All right, let's go to the inbox here. We got 800 people watching. Some of them are throwing in questions. So let's go. Great Clips inbox. More than 4,400 hair salons throughout the United States and Canada. Great Clips is the world's largest hair salon brand and official hair salon of the NHL. Locally owned and operated 7 days a week. For more information, go to greatclips.com. Great Clips. It's going to be great. You can go in with a picture of Tyler Ennis and say, I want my hair to look exactly like this, and they'll do it for you. I don't know if this person is related to you or if this is just a coincidence, but Mark Ennis is in the chat and says, can you ask Tyler who he believes to be the greatest fantasy football player of all time? He'll say himself 100%.
That's my cousin Mark, and yes, he's correct. It is without a doubt myself. He runs a league, and it's a dynasty league. We've been doing it for like a decade, and I definitely have the most championships in that league, so it's tough to say that I'm not the best ever.
What's the team looking like this year? Who are your guys?
It's stacked. I sold everyone last year to build for this year, and it's like, yeah, it's gonna be an easy road to the final for sure. I got everybody.
Selling it off the year before. Also, the regulars in our chat kind of have some weird tendencies. They get fixated on certain things. Like they always think the brick behind us is fake. You can tell it is very real. We laid it ourselves. But Colton is in and says, Tyler, you have to ask if the bricks are real. Lance says, as a bricklayer, I promise you they are fake. Are the bricks behind you real or fake?
Honestly, I was trying to figure out where to set up the camera, and I didn't know where to put it. And I was like, this is a good spot. And I don't know if it's real or not. I just moved into this place. I think it's real. I can touch it maybe.
Yeah. All right. I love this.
It feels very real.
There you go.
It's not like fake wallpaper, but I think it's real.
All right.
There you go.
Then I'm going with their real. Last one I got for you, and this one comes from our producer. He has a file in our queue that is just labeled Ennis goal. I don't know why it's here. I don't know what goal it is. We're just going to blindly play it.
Because I thought it was sick.
All right, let's watch one Tyler Ennis goal. Oh, a Buffalo goal. Oh, that is ridiculous. Is that the nicest goal of your career, or is there another one that you think tops it?
No, that one's the best for sure. That was, yeah, that was a good one. But, yeah, I got lucky a couple times there because puck kind of just ended up like there. So that was the nicest goal I've ever scored for sure. No question.
Zemgus Girgensons, Andre Mazzaros. That's a couple of Mazzaros is a sneaky good puck doku answer, but anyways, you don't care about that. All right, Tyler, really appreciate your time, man. Look forward to doing this throughout the year. We'll chat with you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
There you go. Tyler Ennis, the former Oiler, recently retired, and he's gonna
crazy goal.
That was a
Never
fucking
seen that.
on Carey
That was
Price.
a nasty goal.
Good. Aaron did good producing. The chat got their answer about the bricks.
I love
which
that
is
he got
good.
up and
Yeah, that
touched
was
it.
good.
Got some insight on playing with 97 and 29. That was good. And we'll do that every week. Our regulars for next week are looking, or for next season are looking good. We got Ennis. We got our boy JD, Jason Demers. We got Frank. We have
The multiple insider.
the multiple insider who did text me back, by the way.
What did he say?
Frank's
F off.
he said that would be fun. I don't know how they'd have the bandwidth though. So he ignored the question about which sport he would do, but that's fine.
Football. The answer is
Golf. Frankie's a golfer. And then we have two other guests who we can't tease yet.
I don't know who they are. Do I?
I like to keep things from you sometimes.
Every time, apparently. I didn't know Tyler was coming on until you said on the show we have a guest on Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't like to keep you in the loop. Tyler Mulick, so the third Tyler we've referenced on this show, is he a recurring guest? Plan is yes, absolutely, and he was great today. Braden, all capitals, you didn't ask him about Donairs. Well, if he's joining every week, we have to save some of the good questions for next week. Bonus question about Donairs, no. Tyler Mulick, an incredibly inappropriate comment. We'll keep going. Calvin Pickard says that's a real brick wall, so he's corroborating Tyler Ennis going and touching it, which was a fun twist on the interview as well. We need a Short for Giant question, so let's get into that a little bit. Brought to you by our friends at Where? Short for the Giant. Obviously, your next dealership. Why? Because of everything they can do for you. Tired of dealership hassles? Sherwood Ford in Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their Giant Deal program. Get clear, no-nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online. Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Here's your Giant question.
Okay.
The Boston Bruins, and just let me get to it. Let me walk to it. The Boston Bruins just picked up a goalie on waivers.
Yuri Patera.
Now they got Patera, they got Korpisalo, and Jeremy Swayman doesn't have a contract.
Crazy.
We talked with Frank on Monday and we were like, Frank, it's getting kind of ugly. And then it got even uglier because Cam Neely comes out and says there's 64 million reasons why I would be on the ice at training camp. That kind of got my wheels turning a little bit because we've talked about Swayman, talked about him with DJ Bean. He's never played 50 games in a season.
Yep.
He's never been really a true standalone number one. He was a 1A last year. Year before that, Ullmark won the Vezina.
Yes, which was... Sorry, go ahead.
Swayman is considered a bright, young, up-and-coming star goalie. He's exactly 23 days younger than Stuart Skinner.
Okay.
This whole Swayman thing of him wanting 8 by 8.5 as an RFA doesn't have nearly the same rights a pending UFA would. Stuart Skinner is up to be a UFA in 2 seasons. He's got this year and one more at 2.6, and he's a UFA.
And he's better.
Well, that's what's interesting, and that's what sparked my article, where right now I think a lot of people would rightfully say, oh, I'd rather have Swayman. His numbers have been better, granted smaller sample size, but we're looking at a guy in Skinner who's basically the same age, who has played 50-plus games twice, who has gone on 2 playoff runs now. Right now, he's not considered a top 10 goalie in the NHL. Okay, but let's say in the next year, these things happen. Skinner plays 50-plus games and has a good season. 9, 10 or better save percentage. In front or behind an Oilers blue line that's shaky at best. He takes the Oilers on another deep playoff run, whether it ends with Stanley or doesn't. For the sake of this argument, they just go on a deep playoff run, conference finals or later. And he goes to the Four Nations face-off and plays for Team Canada.
Yes. The resume.
If Jeremy Swayman is getting 8 by 8.5, your giant question is this: what is Stuart Skinner's next contract? Because he's eligible for an extension next summer.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking Bush. Everyone's talking McDavid. McDavid's going to go from 12.5 to, I think, around 16 or 16.5. He's going to get a raise of about $4 million, maybe a little less. Evan Bouchard's going to go from 3.6 to 10, 9.5. He's going to get a raise of $6 million. Stuart Skinner's at 2.6. He's going to get a major jump.
And just looking through this, and I could be wrong, I'm trying to figure out who are the available. So this summer, Igor can go for this upcoming summer. Aiden Hill is available. I'm trying to just find the goalies that would possibly adjust the market a little bit more too, to change things.
Yeah.
I think Skinner's probably looking at 9
mil.
I mean, if Swayman's getting that much, and let's say the Oilers go on another run, and you just listed off all those things.
He could
Cap
be
is, there was reports yesterday the cap's going to go up to 92 million.
92.5.
Is 9 million, like, I don't know what the percentage would be, but is that not equivalent to what, like, a $6 million goalie maybe would have been like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just trying to throw numbers out there. I think
If Swayman goes,
I think it's going to be a lot. And I think the Oilers just need to do it. But also, too, like, how many, see, everyone's going to be like, no, it's just contract. How many years would be left after that? Like 2 more years of Nurse?
something. By the time his extension kicks in, Nurse would have 2 more years left.
Yes.
And someone said, is there still Jack Campbell dead money? Yes, there'd be 2 more years of Jack Campbell dead money, I believe. No more. There'd be 3 more years of Jack Campbell money, I think. Yikes.
I think the Skinner conversation is so interesting because I just think people, and this isn't just Oilers fans, people just aren't used to Edmonton having a good goalie.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to give any credit to Skinner.
Yeah.
And I don't like it at all. It's I don't know. There's something about it. Like this whole thing the other day when we talked to Frank about the Four Nations thing, like for me, Stuart Skinner is the clear-cut starting goalie for Canada. The last 2 years, there has not been a Canadian goalie that has had a better save percentage and more wins than Stuart Skinner in the NHL. The other thing is, the save percentage for Skinner in the last 2 years is like, I can't remember what it is, whatever it is. He is the best save percentage. His goals against is 2.68 in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
The 4 better goalies better than him. 3 of them are also at 2.68. The other one's Aiden Hill at 2.67. The other one's Laurent Brossoit at 2.05. So, like, he is amongst the best Canadian goalies.
He's on the Four Nations team this year.
He's an absolute lock.
Barring a train wreck start to the season, he is on the
Yeah.
team. And if the season goes well, he is the starting goalie for Team Canada.
100%.
And people like, I know Joel says, sorry to catch up, but like
No.
Joel says, Skinner isn't elite.
I think he is.
And again, like
what is elite? I don't think he is elite either. I think he's great.
but elite is Shesterkin, and Shesterkin's going to get 10. Like if Swayman is setting the market for good number ones, because I think the tier list kind of goes like there is elite, there is good to great number ones, and then there is good to great 1As who need someone good behind him. And you can say what you want about Skinner. He has given the Oilers 2 years of good results with nobody behind him.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, the rotting corpse of Jack Campbell's career and a career AHL guy have been his backups. And I like Pickard and I like the signing, and I think he can be a fine backup for them. That's not the argument I'm getting into here. People are saying he's not great yet. My point is he's given the Oilers 2 years of workhorse number one workloads. Which goalies last year played more games with a save percentage above 900 than Stuart Skinner? Gave you more starts with a save percentage above 900? Bob and
I was
Hellebuck.
going to say.
The Cup winner and the Vezina winner.
And the other one that probably would have been up there if he had played the full season would have been Vasilevsky.
Probably. So,
And they are the 3 highest paid goalies in the NHL.
so again, is Skinner great right now? He's knocking at the door.
Yeah.
He's knocking at the door. And what I laid out was things that are very plausible to happen in the next 10 to 12 months that could push him into that great tier. I think people discount him just because he's an Oiler and just because of the playoff struggles without recognizing his age and the situation he's been thrown into, which is thrust into a number one role at what was 23, 24 years old at the time with no help behind him. Also, again, playoff struggles. Sure, he wasn't good for 3 rounds. But then,
when?
Well, like as in 2 years ago, had a bad round, and then this year he was bad for the first 2 rounds.
No, he was bad for 1 round.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Because LA, he was fine.
He was, yeah,
and then what did he do?
Win shutout. Yeah.
Nails at the end against Vancouver. Oilers are not moving on if not for Pickard, but Oilers are also not moving on if not for Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
Nails against Dallas, and nails against. I know that Reinhart goal wasn't good in Game 7, but in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, he gave up 2 goals. The Oilers should have won that game. The Oilers, 2 goals.
Yeah, I think the start of that Florida series obviously could have been like a little bit better, but also the Oilers just in general were bad. And I find it difficult to put the blame on Skinner for that. I think just collectively as a team, they weren't very good. But I don't know. Like, we got another season. And believe me, like, if Skinner comes out and he's average, then yeah. But like, Skinner was the best goalie in January for this team in the league.
Everyone looks at Jake Ottinger and goes,
so good.
Premier, future Vezina. Oh, great young goalie. He is 47 days younger than Stuart Skinner. He's got a career save percentage in the playoffs of .916 and in the regular season of .913. Stuart Skinner has his career playoffs is very low, .894. Again, that's a blip, but a career regular season save percentage of .910. I don't know, man. I just
and that too in Dallas has had the support.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've had good backups. They're in like a different spot too to what the others are.
Better blue line if we're being blunt.
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone would hand Jake Ottinger a $9 million deal,
and Dallas would be applauded for giving him a $9 million deal. And I get the sense, again, I think if Swayman goes 8 by 8.5, I think there are factors that work in the Oilers' favor. Hometown guy, families here, started a family here as well.
It might be like 8.
I think it's 8 by 8.
So looking at around the league, there's only 5 goalies who get paid more than $8 million.
Yeah.
Carey Price is still one of them, the highest paid goalie in the league. Sorokin, 29, in his first year of an 8-year deal. Connor Hellebuck, 31, $8.5 million in the first year. Vasilevsky in his 5th year of the deal, 9.5, 30. And then Bob, the highest paid active goalie, is $10 million in his 6th year of a 7-year deal. I just think you can kind of slot Skinner in there with his age.
Yeah,
the market's going to be set by Swayman. That's what the whole point is of Swayman's holdout. And
Swayman talked about the responsibility
summer too.
Yeah, Swayman talked about the responsibility he feels setting the market and being that guy, looking out for his fellow goalies. I think that's why he's pushing so hard. And again, you can sit there and say he's not Skinner. That is not going to be as good as Swayman. So you're not going to give him 8 by 8.5. But Skinner has the option to walk as a UFA. Swayman does not have that option. Like, that is a leverage point that the Bruins have right now. As much as I think they screwed themselves leverage-wise trading Allmark before they had Swayman locked up, and it would have maybe been dirty pool to go to Swayman and be like, hey, here's a 8 by 6. Like, let's go. We're keeping you in Allmark and then trading Allmark. Sure, but you would have gotten the deal done. He's an RFA. He doesn't have rights. Skinner is going to have the ability to test the open market. And Christopher Palmer says, no, the market's going to be set by Igor. Igor's in a world of his own.
It's different. It's like when Draisaitl went for his contract this year. Draisaitl isn't setting the contract standard for
Marner.
They're not on the same wavelength.
No.
It's different. McKinnon set the market for Draisaitl, and Draisaitl maybe helped set the market for another guy who's underrated, Mikko Rantanen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's the same.
Someone said he could sign an offer sheet, but again, not really, because if a team's going to offer sheet him at 8 by 8.5, they're giving up what? How many firsts is that? I don't even know. I don't have the thing in front of me. Tools. Cap relief. I can't find it on Puckpedia. Damn it.
I'm guessing 3.
It's somewhere. It's a lot.
I was reading the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think 8 million minimum.
I think it's going to be 8 by 8.
Had the Oilers scored 2 more goals in Game 7, we'd all be applauded for signing a goalie for 8 by 8 who won a cup at 25 years old.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think people are maybe thinking, and I know Mulick was in earlier and a couple other people were in and saying, you go 5 to 6 mil at most. You're not getting, unless I am grossly misreading this, but I think the people around the league who are detractors of Stuart Skinner are just doing it purely based off perception and vibes and not actually off his body of work, which is wildly impressive for a 25-year-old goalie. Also, goalies should traditionally age well.
Yeah, traditionally.
Like, I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury, if you want to talk about being judged in the playoffs, that dude lost his starting job in the playoffs to Matt Murray, was cast aside by one organization, won a Vezina, then was cast aside by another organization, then went to Minnesota and played 2 more years as a starting goalie.
Well, I think that
and I'm not saying Skinner is Fleury, and I'm not like he's not a Hall of Fame or nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. The point is goalies can't, as much as they're voodoo, they can also be good into their late 30s.
Yeah, I mean, look at Bobrovsky. He was terrible the first 4 years of his contract, and in these last 2 years have been back-to-back finals.
Yeah,
I don't know, they're weird, but you got to pay them because they're so hard to get. There's a reason the others draft a goalie, and every team does this every single year because you might hit on 1 in 10.
The offer sheet would have been a first, a second, and a third. So again, a team would have had to be willing to give up assets for him, and that's the other weird thing with the goalies. Their trade value is never what you think it is.
No, which is interesting.
But I think part of it too is because teams generally make their bets. But I also think that might be why if Stuart Skinner were to hit unrestricted free agency, it's an interesting case.
Yeah, agreed.
Maybe teams wouldn't pay him. Maybe teams would sit there and go, no, we'll hit the trade market. We'll get a guy for a second and a third and whatever. And hey, goalies have gotten to the point Skinner has and fallen off a little bit too. I remember a point in time not that long ago when it was Mackenzie Blackwood. It was this guy is the future of Canadian goaltending. He's going to be so good. He played that one season, his first full year with the Devils. He had a .915 save percentage. And at that point, it was 5 years ago, he would have been 22. And it was here we go. And granted, heel injury, whatever, Devils weren't as good. He played 40 games last year for the Sharks, was average, but he never hit that level. So that's why I said, we need to see how this year goes. But I'm saying if those things I lined up, Skinner's top 10 in save percentage, very realistic. Skinner plays 50 games, pretty much a lock if he's healthy, or it is a lock if he's healthy. And if Skinner plays well at the Four Nations, and the Oilers go on a playoff run, all those things are likely to happen. There's going to be a conversation about Skinner being in the top 10, and that is going to come with him needing a massive payday.
And I'm all in.
Yeah, me too. I think if you have him, you pay him. And what works in the Oilers' favor is, one, if they're willing to go term, Skinner can sit there and go, starting goalie, check. Chance to win a cup for all 8 years of this contract, check. In my hometown, where my family is, where I have my route set up, check. Maybe it goes down to 7. Maybe it's 8 by 7.
And the thing is, too, isn't he one of 10 brothers and sisters?
Yep.
It's a lot of people to be moving out of town and be like, hey, come visit for the holidays. You know,
good point.
Kind of a pain in the ass when you come back.
Mike D, time to go back to 5 shows a week. We're over an hour already. 100%. Liam and I were talking yesterday. We think we could do 2 hours a day.
I 100% think we could.
We easily could, especially with our.
We could do hours. They have just hanging up.
Yeah. But we're going to be back on Friday with another show. Let's wrap this up with the Bet365 Other Sports Report, brought to you by our friends at Bet365, the largest sports betting platform globally. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today, and this is the important part. Use the promo code Oily Bonus. Oily Bonus is the promo code. We had someone in the chat say if the number's more than 4 million for Skinner, they're worried.
4 million.
Get ready to be
if
worried.
The number's 4 million for Stuart Skinner, then the Oilers haven't made the playoffs for 3 years or 2 years, whatever's left. If the number is 4 million for Stuart Skinner,
I bet that person lost 5 million for Jack Campbell.
The Oilers aren't signing Stuart Skinner because something went terribly wrong, and somehow Calvin Pickard and Rodrigo are goalies.
Mm-hmm. All right. Other sports report. MLB playoffs off to an electric start. I do have a bet on the baseball game that's happening right now between the Tigers and Astros.
Oh, how exciting.
Astros run line, -1.5. And also, I'm going, I did the strikeout prop for Hunter Brown, which is 6.5. He got 1 in the first inning. He's up to 3 through 2 innings. So we'll see. It's 0-0 right now. Bottom of the second, man on for Houston.
Houston already changed pitches.
No, Detroit.
Detroit already changed pitches.
They were going with an opener today, yeah.
I don't get that.
They don't have any pitchers.
Oh, they don't?
No, they have Tariq Skubal and that's it. They traded Jack Flaherty at the deadline.
How are they here? Oh, they're that good story, aren't they? Champions League today, too. I'll do that over at Bet365. A lot of good games.
A lot of stuff. MLB playoffs yesterday were great. This pitch, so Michael King was nails yesterday. Struck out 12 Atlanta Braves in the win.
Plays for San Diego.
Plays for San Diego. Right. And this pitch was kind of going viral because of how filthy it was. Like, look where that ends up, and he gets the guy to swing and miss.
Whoa.
But also, it starts, and that break doesn't really hit until about halfway. In a 2-strike count, Michael King also does a thing where he steps over. You can see watch his front foot. It comes like all the way across his body, and he like whips across the plate, which makes it very difficult to read. Because he was getting guys to swing at stuff like that all day. When you're in a 2-strike count, you're thinking, okay, I just got to fight this off and protect. And then it falls off the face of the earth.
Damn.
I thought this was just a horrible swing until you made me look at this more. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're right. Like if I pause it, like
that looks like
going straight. It don't end up there, brother.
No. He was nasty. So who has a chance to move on today? Right now, if the Tigers beat the Astros, they move on. That series is 1-0 Detroit. Royals are up 1-0. That game starts in an hour and a half. Mets up 1-0.
These two, who are these guys playing?
Mets playing the Brewers. Royals playing the Orioles.
Oh, yeah. Go KC.
I hate both those teams.
Yeah, me too, but I'd rather KC.
Braves Padres is the nightcap.
Go Braves.
Cool.
It's good baseball. It is good baseball.
Braves are down.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch that. Go Braves. Go.
Also betting
You
on
want a hat? You want a jersey?
No, but my uncle lives in Atlanta, so maybe Atlanta's my team.
Frank hates the Braves. Let's go.
Something to think about.
Betting on pitcher strikeouts is, again, bet responsibly. We bet for fun because we get an enjoyment out of it. Betting on pitcher strikeouts is so much fun because every time the count gets to 0-2 or 1-2 or 2-2, you're just like, let's go. Come on, K. And you only need like 6 of them for your bet to hit usually. So a lot of fun. Shout out to Bet365. Shout out to the Major League Baseball playoffs. Best time of the year. We are 7 days away from banner night at Rogers Place as the Oilers will raise the Western Conference champion banner. It is a banner night.
I know, but
The Oilers have not raised a banner since 2006.
Hey,
you
like
don't
that banner.
yeah,
don't
you don't
shame banner
don't
night.
poo-poo
I
it.
just never thought of it, and it just damn. Ugh.
It
Could have been
hurts.
raising 2.
Could have been raising. Should be
tough
raising
banner.
3 at least. At least our banner's better than the Canucks banner.
Our friend Christopher Palmer wants to know about Greta. He says, do we pre-party at Greta if we're going to the game? I think you could. I think you absolutely could.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, can we tell people about Friday's show?
Sure.
We're
Okay.
going to do one.
Can we put Greta up at the top of the screen while we talk about it?
Let's,
We're going to do...
get some of this.
There you go. Shout out to our friends at Greta Arcade Bar Street Food. A fantastic pregame spot, a fantastic postgame spot, fantastic spot to watch the game if you're not getting into the building. So there you go.
I'm having a meeting with Phil tomorrow at Greta because they're doing some fun stuff this season
Nice.
that I'm going to be involved in. And I can't wait to tell everyone.
Nice. Go ahead.
Friday's show.
Yes.
Well, we have a guest.
We do. Cole Robertson is our guest. I will give you his Instagram bio here. He reached out to us. His Instagram is Cowboy Cole, comedian, CEO of iHeart Hot Rodeo Moms, creates content for cowboys and Western lovers. The rodeo's in town, and Cole's going to come by. We're going to do like quick 10, 15 minutes with him. He's got like 50K Instagram followers.
I'm going to go to the rodeo.
You are.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I used to go when it was at Rexall.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called the
CFR, Canadian Pals
CFR,
Rodeo.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Got to buy some tickets tonight.
So Cole's going to swing by in studio, I believe. I want to... Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the hell? You all right?
Yep, I'm good.
This is a live show, folks.
Is that a
Sometimes
belt buckle?
things
that a
happen
belt
on the
buckle?
fly.
I need to ask him what this means.
Yeah. Well,
But CFR is a blast.
I gotta
Maybe,
say-
can I give you a task for the show tomorrow?
We have a show tomorrow.
Or sorry, Friday?
Yeah.
Can you do research and can we do overrated, underrated, perfectly rated of rodeo things with him?
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Okay, so Cole's going to be on Friday. We might also get another guest Friday. I'm still mulling over a few things.
Okay. And yeah, if you're down
Might
there,
text JD.
obviously check out Greta.
Check out Greta.
You can go pre and post.
There you
I'm
go.
one of
Oilers
those,
play tonight. We didn't talk
Do they
about that.
really?
Yeah, we didn't mention it once.
Oh, who do they
yeah.
play? Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle. Here's from Gregor. Perry, Podkolzin, and Emerson, Stetcher, Pickard skated this morning. So tonight's lineup is likely on the road. Nuge, McDavid, Hyman, Skinner, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Janmark, Henrik, Brown, Kajula, Philip, Ryan. The top 9 we will likely see on opening night. A 4th line that is full of battles.
Go Kajula.
Nurse making his preseason debut with Dermott, not Josh Brown. Interesting.
As a lefty as well. Dermott's a lefty.
Yeah, they're flipping over the offside, which maybe tells you something about the race.
That they hate everyone on the right side. Oh, they want to rest guys. Emerson's actually played quite a few games.
Giant key to victory tonight. No one get hurt.
Yeah.
Josh Brown look competent challenge.
See what you can do. I mean, if Brett Kulak can't make you look good, then we have problems.
Noah Philp, take the job.
Let's go,
Take it
Philper.
tonight. Score 2. Say,
Let's go.
I love you, but I'm sorry. I'm better than you.
You know, this was Gregor was talking about this yesterday. So shout out Gregor and Jason Strudwick. The OGs of real life, by the way. Found that out the other week. Pretty special. Keeping up Philp just gives you that flexibility that Lavoie doesn't. In the sense of like Philp comes up, play Derek Ryan on the wing, have Philp in the middle, play Philp on the wing, Derek Ryan in the middle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You have Lavoie, and it's kind of like, well, Perry, you're out tonight. And I know the conversation is all about like the waivers and everything like that. But I think that's something the others are just seriously considering. My final decision would be send down Philp, keep Lavoie, give Lavoie some time to see what he can actually do, because at the end of the day, Lavoie doesn't need to do anything anymore in the American League. He deserves to be in the NHL from his play. He's come up to the preseason, done a really good job. Philp as well. But Philp obviously took the year off. And they said this too on the show. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Noah Philp has only played either 2 of the last 4 seasons or 3 of the last 5 seasons. Because one of the years he also didn't play because of COVID.
Yeah.
So he's not like, his story is insane.
Swab.
But like his lack of games. So yeah, I mean, I think he needs to go to the American League, be the best player, and then we'll see in a couple of months.
Fair.
Do you agree?
Yes, I do. Reluctantly.
Yeah, I'm
agree.
also reluctant. I want both of them here.
Me too. I want a 4th lineup, put Coles and Philp and Lavoie.
Me too. It's exciting. I know it's not even anything because Perry and Ryan did anything wrong.
Yeah. I just
like shiny toys.
I like the youth. All right. That's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Liam and I are going to interview interns. New interns coming. So we're doing that today. And I got a beer league game tonight. It's a busy one. That's a wrap. Big shout out to Tyler Ennis. That was fun.
That was good.
Excited to have him as in our stable of regulars for this upcoming season, replacing the other former Oilers we used to have. And we got Ennis.
We got Ennis.
Him walking up and touching the brick was so funny.
I was like, okay, this guy can hang.
Yeah,
this guy can
do
hang.
it. All right, that's a wrap. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Oil up.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.